come to New York in the middle of winter. It's a great idea. It's a great idea. I'm going to take this opportunity to throw it back actually to, I believe it was springtime. I did a video on the James Joseph and caught some fish, and it was a much nicer day than today. So enjoy watching that, guys. What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Cooking with Clams. I'm Will, and we are here on Long Island in Huntington, and I'm gonna head out on a party boat called the James Joseph. I've definitely done videos from the boat before. It's a little bit hard to film on the party boats just because there's a lot of people and feels a little weird. And also you don't know who wants to be on camera or not. Anyway, with that said, I'm going to fill you in right now. We are going for Fluke. It's been pretty late season for Fluke, but in the past week it has exploded. There's been Fluke everywhere, so there probably won't be any around today. But if you're unfamiliar with the Fluke, it is also called summer flounder. It's flat fish, white on one side, brown on the top, and they bury themselves in the sand. Now, the setup I have, this guy right here. So, small reel, bottom rig, and I got a little teaser up top. And you just use spearing, which are little bait fish, and squid. I might even try some gulp, which is an artificial bait. Now, Fluke, I gotta check the regulations. Since I'm going on the party boat, I didn't look at it before I left the house, but I believe it's 18.5 right now, which is a pretty decent size. They are amazing sashimi fish and sushi fish. Now, with all that said, one of the bycatch while you are fluking is sea robin, which most people throw back. They got a big head, small fillet. I've definitely cooked some of them on the channel before, but if we get those and we don't get a fluke, worst case scenario, we'll cook some bycatch. I actually switched up my rig because they were saying they were using 8 ounces to hold bottom. So switched over to they refer to as a dragon rig, where you have heavy sinker and then your hook is on a line that goes very far out, because Fluke can be kind of sinker shy. So we will see. There we go. Fish on. Feels like a fluke. Feels halfway decent, maybe. Biggest porgy I ever seen. Actually, will you net him?
Yeah.
Light's pretty. This rod is pretty light. I'll take him. That's a huge porgy. That's the biggest porgy I've ever caught here. Right? That is huge. That is a huge.
Yeah. Nice porgy.
I mean, that's big.
That worked.
Jeez. Fluke? Dogfish. It's weird. It is fighting and now not fighting. Dogfish? No. Oh, sea bass. Oh. What? How big do they gotta be? 16. I don't think he made it. Not too bad. I got 3 porgy, brought in a sea bass, dogfish, heading back in, and then they go back out for a second trip, or third trip of the day. I came on, they do 3 a day. I came on at the noon, and now I'm gonna stay on for the 4 o'clock. And we'll see how we do. There were a couple of big fluke that came up and over. I got that one big porgy, which I think we're gonna do something cool with that. And porgy, they gotta be 10.5 inches. That guy was about 14, 15 inches. Huge porgy for up here. Down in Key West, that's like average size. But yeah, it's a beautiful day out. It'd be a shame not to come back out again. So we're gonna stay on board. Hopefully we get a fluke. Also, out of curiosity, I have a very important question, which is, what's your go-to sandwich or snack on a boat? Mine is an Italian sub, which you guys saw. That's like my favorite part of going on the party boat, is an Italian sub. Yeah. There it is, my first robin of the day. Yeah. There we go. I think they're pretty. Alright, that was it. I don't know if you guys can hear me. It's kind of windy up here, but all in all, not bad. You know, I got my 3 porgy. Caught a bunch of fish, threw them back. Had a couple of sea robins, but because we have the porgy, threw the sea robins back. A bunch of people did well on the boat. A lot of keeper fluke came up over, just not on my hook. But yeah, if you're ever in Huntington or the North Shore, Long Island, you want to go out on a charter boat, the James Joseph is the one to go. He's really, really known for blackfishing to tog. Amazing. But fluke, they do really well, and then they do jigging trips. So I think while I'm here on Long Island, I will definitely come out for one of the jigging trips for striped bass and bluefish. But yeah, all in all, a good trip out. So what we're gonna do with this guy is a dish called Tiradito. It is a Peruvian dish. It's sashimi, but it has a nice kind of hot pepper citric sauce that goes over it, and it is a good clash of Latin recipe but with Japanese influence, so it's kind of interesting. But let's get to filleting. Normally scup or porgy would not be served raw, so that's the one thing we're doing that's a little bit different. And that first cut is always the worst, going through those scales. But I get my first cut, and now from here I can follow up, and I'm cutting outward instead of inward, so it's a little bit easier getting through the scales there. And I'm gonna go up and over the rib cage, just like that. And since we are serving this raw, I want to cut out some of that bloodline, but I'll do that along with cutting out the pin bones. So I'm going to go right down the center. On either side. There you go. Pin bones are out. And I have 2 boneless, perfect pieces of New England porgy. And I'll do the same to the other side here. Now if anyone out there, so I've had this happen before, and I find it interesting if anyone out there can tell me why one side sometimes is a little bit flakier, if that makes sense. Happens with bluefish a lot, and it's usually when they're spawning. But the meat separates a little more. If you can see that. Yeah, like that separates. And I've never gotten a clear answer on it other than that it's when they're spawning, the meat gets a little mushy, but no one's had a definitive answer as to why. So if you have one, please offer it. So now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna wrap these in paper towel and let them cure up a bit in the fridge, but these are going to make gorgeous sashimi for our Tiradito. Alright, so now we'll get everything chopped up for our sauce. And yes, I flipped the cutting board, don't worry. And this is a cooked sauce that is then cooled down. And also, traditionally this sauce would be made with ají amarillo, which we can't get here in the States, so we're gonna fake it. And what we're going to fake it with is a yellow bell pepper, and a Scotch bonnet pepper. I'm gonna leave the seeds out because I don't want it to be too overpowering, because the fish is delicate, it's gonna be raw. I don't want it to be completely masked by the pepper. I'm gonna put a little more onion. We'll do the whole thing. And for when we blend it, you need 1 lemon and 1 lime. Since we're not putting any color on the veg, you don't need the pan particularly hot. So the veg can go right in. And all we're doing is sweating it down and then blending it. So we're not cooking this all the way through, we're just cooking it a little bit to get some of the water content out. And that's it. And this will actually help. This is a little bit of garlic salt. Alright, we'll let that cook down probably for about 2-3 minutes. Once those onions start becoming a little translucent, we're good to go. Maybe about another minute. Now, you could have boiled the yellow pepper and peeled the skin off. I've done that before to make it a bit of a smoother sauce, but I wasn't too worried about it. I've gone and done that, and it's silky smooth and it's beautiful, but I kind of like the little bits of skin in some sauces. I know that's not the fine dining way, but it saves you a tedious process. All right, once this is done, we're going into the blender. Lemon lime. give this a little taste, see if it needs any seasoning or anything. That is delicious. It's definitely got some heat on it, which is actually very, very nice. The lemon and lime come through with the garlic. That is very good. Doesn't need any salt or anything. We really just a little bit of salt to kind of balance it, but we really want it to be tart, almost like a ceviche. Okay, we're gonna let this cool down, put it in the fridge, let it cool down completely, and then we'll plate up. Well, the sun decided to come out after all, which is very nice. So I have here my porgy in the paper towel, which just takes out some of the moisture, firms up the fish a little bit, and actually makes it less chewy. But I mean, look, that is a gorgeous, gorgeous piece of fish. For right now, this is all I'm gonna plate, and this I'm gonna put back into the fridge. Now we have our sauce. And I'm gonna put a little bit of chives on top. And a little bit of shallot. You could do red onion, but I like the shallot. A little bit more delicate of a flavor. And last but not least, I have a little bit of smoked sea salt here, and we'll use that as a finishing salt and add a little bit more depth of flavor. Okay, let's dig in. That fish is beautiful. I mean, it looks just like snapper. There's just the right amount of warmth because of that habanero, but because we didn't put in the pith and the seeds, it is just right. That lemon lime, ooh, unbelievable. And the fish, because of the way that we cut it, soft, not chewy, tender, and it has a really nice mild taste, almost like red snapper. Very, very similar to red snapper sashimi. It's quite good. And that little bit of smoked salt on top. Not a fish you would normally see as sushi or sashimi, almost never. A couple of years ago, I had someone come to the restaurant, a woman named June, and she made sushi out of all of our fish that you would never think to make sushi out of. And one of the things she used was scup, or porgy. And it was one of the best pieces that I had, that and bluefish. And I couldn't believe it, because even I never thought to use it as a sushi fish. And I'm a believer. It's good. The only problem is that they're so small, so I'm happy I got that big one. But I have enough to make a couple more plates of this. But great appetizer, wonderful, nice and bright. Has all the flavors of a ceviche. really, really nice. Well, all right, guys. Big thanks to the James Joseph. Always putting people on the fish. Even if I was unlucky in catching the fish I targeted, still got something. Great guys, and like I said, if you're ever out here on the North Shore looking for a party boat and they have a small boat to go out on, we're going to do some more episodes with them, and just really, really good guys. So, cheers, and I will see you on the next one.